Let us learn about resilient city. What is this approach all about? Resilience actually is the opposite side of the coin, where is one side of the coin and the other side of the coin is vulnerability. So, how do we bring in resilience? So, let us understand what is resilience. So, resilience is the capacity of a community's economic, social, political and physical infrastructure systems to absorb shocks and stresses and still retain their basic function and structure. And what is urban resilience? Urban resilience is the process and ability of cities, or how they can manage their changes, because the cities are dynamic, changes are going to take place. So, how does a city manage those changes? So, how much risk the city can take? And the Rockefeller Foundation said that the capacity of individuals, communities, institutions, businesses and systems within a city to survive, adapt and grow no matter what kinds of chronic stresses and acute shocks they experience is what makes them resilient. And building up of resilience makes, if one has to build up resilience, urban resilience, one has to look at the city holistically, understand the systems, the interdependencies and the risks. The United Nations Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development clearly details out and lays emphasis on resilience in cities. And the new urban agenda says that resilience is a core goal, and it is directly identified in the Urban Crisis Charter of the Global Alliance for Urban Crisis. Resilient cities thrive as centers of human habitation, production and cultural development, despite the challenges posed by climate change, population growth and globalization. As I said earlier, and you can see from this drawing, resilience and vulnerability are two sides of the coin. Resilient city indicators can be divided into four. One is the economic indicators, the indicators pertaining to society, environment and governance also. So, here in this drawing, the various indicators are given. For example, in society, it is migration, age and gender, poverty levels, household income, percentage of population living 500 meters from services. As I stated earlier, resilience is to absorb the future shocks, stresses and still retain the original position. So, resilient cities, it applies to resilient cities also. And now let us understand what are these shocks. It can be the natural disasters, man-made disasters. It can be the stresses. What are the stresses? They are high unemployment, inefficient public transport systems, then violence, then lack of infrastructure. Coming to the good examples of resilient cities, we see that Bangkok in Thailand, which is the capital of Thailand, has a population of 8.2 million and an area of about 1568 square kilometers. It qualifies to be a resilient city. The challenges are increased vehicular traffic, then air pollution, scarcity of green spaces, increased municipal waste, river pollution and floods. So, Bangkok had all these problems. How did they strategize, or what were their strategies? They tried to reduce risk and increase adaptation, tried to improve the resilience to floods, increase public and community driven action on awareness, preparedness and adaptation. Then they provided the strategy was to provide safe, accessible and convenient transportation network through mass rapid transit system that is monorail and light rail, then tried to improve the traffic flow in the city. Their strategies also included environment-friendly urbanization, development of waste to energy, low carbon transport, and improving air quality management, and growing or increasing in green space. They tried to reduce risk and increased adaptation through resilience to floods, community water resource management program, and development of drainage channels. Rotterdam in Netherlands, which is Europe's largest port, has a population of less than 1 million, an area of about 325 square kilometer, also had problems and challenges, and they have proposed strategies in order to become a resilient city. The challenges pertain to social cohesion and education, energy transition, climate adaptation, cyber use and security, critical infrastructure, and urban governance. Rotterdam believed in being anchored in daily life as well as in the actions taken by companies, institutions, government, and citizens. That means believed in the stakeholders, role of stakeholders in planning. Their strategies included having a balanced society. The port city was built on clean and reliable energy. Then the port city was a cyber port city. Then they went into climate adaptation. They had the water sensitive Rotterdam, that is the construction of small and larger water storage combined with greening, often initiated by citizens, and is contributing to the resilience of Rotterdam. They have also 21st century ready infrastructure, underground infrastructure. I mean, we think of only overground, but underground infrastructure as a physical basis for a resilient Rotterdam. A networked city where residents, public and private organizations would come together, network, and contribute towards the shared vision of a resilient city. So, it is about a resilient governance. Surat in India, which is the world's most climate change cities affected by climate change as per World Bank Sustainable Development Network, had experienced 23 floods and also plague in 1994, which is had a population or has a population of about 4.5 million, an area of about 326 square kilometers. And the challenges which Surat faced was rapid industrialization, migration, floods, health was getting affected of citizens, and affordable housing. The strategies which Surat used was about connectivity and mobility services and regulation, about adequate public transport system, about raising awareness on road safety, then affordable housing, housing for economically weaker section. The strategies also included improvement in water availability and quality, pollution control guidelines, then diversified business sectors and opportunities, and skill development through trainings and capacity buildings. The other strategies pertain to ecosystem and environmental regulation, about social cohesion or maintaining of social cohesion, and upscaling of public health.